Hey guys, welcome to OH. My name is Michaela Legas and I'm from Middleburg, Florida. My business is called Paint Fixation, and I'm here tonight to show you just how easy it is to paint a piece of your own furniture. I got this piece today from the thrift store and it's in excellent shape. I'm going to do everything from start to finish with you to show you how easy it is. And if you have any questions, please ask them. If I don't see your question or comment before I get off, I will go back after the video and I will answer all of your questions. So please, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, so I am going to show you, probably won't be able to finish the whole thing tonight. I'm going to clean it with you and then start painting. This piece is in very good condition. It doesn't have any repairs that needs to be done, so I don't need to use any of the Dixie mud to fill any cracks or crevices. It also is, it's got a very good finish on it, so I don't need to sand it to sand out any flaws or anything. I'm just going to give it a very good cleaning, and then after I clean it, I can just start right in on painting it. I've done several pieces like this that are heavily used, and they all have held up wonderfully. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the piece, and I'm going to use White Lightning. And I don't have the container. Let's see, where's the container that it comes in? I want to show you what it looks like. Okay, this is White Lightning. Okay, it's a powder form, and I put mine in a spray bottle. When you're putting it in a spray bottle, you want to make sure you shake it up really good before you use it. Okay, because this one has been sitting for a couple of days, so I'm going to give it a good shake. And White Lightning not only cleans your furniture, but it also deglosses it. So if it does have a little bit of a finish on it like this one does, it helps to take off some of that shine, so you don't have to worry about your paint slipping off. Now, if it did have a slick surface like glass or Formica or a laminate, then I would use a product called Slick Stick, and that's a bonding primer, and it helps the paint to stick to the piece of furniture. But we're not going to need that tonight. We're just going to clean it and start painting it. And I haven't quite figured out my end finish that I'm going to do. If you watched my last video, you know that I can be kind of wishy-washy when I'm trying to get to the end result. Hi, Jar. But I am going to start with sawmill gravy. So tonight I'm going to just be using this color, and I'm just going to be using one brush, and I'm going to put one full coat hopefully on tonight with you guys. Again, if you have questions, ask questions, but I'm going to get started cleaning this. I'll keep an eye on the screen. So the first thing you want to do is you want to give it a spray with your White Lightning. Okay, now this is a solid wood piece, so I'm not worried about any moisture damage to it. Okay, I'm just going to spray this, and I like to use a green scrubby because it gives it a good scrub. And so I'm just going to get in the cracks all up underneath here. There is some detailing here, but it's getting in all those cracks, so I'm not going to worry about that. I probably will be doing some details with some black wax or something in the details anyway, so not real worried about getting that too. It looks pretty clean. This was such a find. I paid less than $25 for this piece at the thrift store today, so I feel like I was pretty lucky. Now, after I put the White Lightning on, I'm just going to give it a spray with some water and wipe it back. And if you could feel this, you could feel how the White Lightning has deglossed it enough so that I can actually feel a difference in the finish. It's got more of a grab to it, which gives the paint a perfect surface. I don't have a lot of room in here. I'm kind of excited because I used to do all my painting on the back patio, which I live in Florida, and it gets extremely hot out there. And I bought a little portable air conditioner last year, but two of my kids have moved out, and so I've squeezed inside my house into this little room here, and I'm going to make it work. So I'm a little tight in here, but we can do it. So when you pop on, tell me where you're from. If you've ever painted any of your own furniture and how you felt it turned out. I'm using Dixie Belle chalk mineral paint. It's very good adhesion. There's lots of good colors. Lots of colors. There's 69 colors. And they blend and you can mix them beautifully. You have 69 colors to start with, but you have an endless amount of colors to work with those colors by putting them together and mixing them up. But I find that there's so many of them. I guess I wouldn't say I rarely make new colors. I actually do make quite a few. So that had a few little pieces in there, little chunks of something. Got those out with my scrubby pad. And I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down. And if you can see the dirt, see that? This piece really looked clean, but I can already see some of the grime coming off of here. Sometimes I'll wear gloves if I have a piece that's really nasty and I know I'm going to be using more than one coat of the White Lightning. Sometimes it takes more than one to get it nice and clean if you get it a real grungy piece. But this piece isn't too bad. I'm going to come over here. I had a heck of a time getting the lighting good in here. Okay, now this has a little bit, looks like somebody may have spilled something on here, so I'm going to take a little bit more care with this side. I'm just going to get in the grooves there. Get my scrubby. Now, if you're new to furniture painting, you shouldn't be scared. It's actually very easy. I think the hardest part is trying to decide what you want it to look like. If you're doing it for your own house, you can just paint it to match your own style. And the great thing about Dixie Belle is if you change your mind somewhere down the road, like I do, you can always just paint right over it, okay? Even our waxes are water-based, so you can paint right over them with the Dixie Belle paint if you decide you don't like it. You do not have to use mineral spirits to get the Dixie Belle wax back off like you do with some of the other brands. They are water-based, and so you can just go right over the top of them. It's one of the things I love about it. So Dara said that she has used a transfer over sawmill gravy. Cool. I love sawmill gravy. Draw cloth used to be my favorite, but I keep going to the sawmill gravy. It's just something about the color that attracts me to it. Okay, so that end's done. I'm going to get me a fresh rag because this one is getting pretty nasty. That edge was pretty dirty. Can y'all still see? Okay. So I've got two bottles here. One's marked White Lightning, one's water. Just want to make sure I don't get them mixed up. I like using the scrubby because it doesn't scratch the furniture, but it really gets in the grooves and cleans it really well. So I wanted to do a piece with you guys, start to finish, so that you can see exactly what I do to get the look that I'm getting, okay? It's not hard. It doesn't take that much time, especially if you're doing a simple finish. And I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do on the top. I might do a driftwood look or something, but for the first coat, I'm just going to put sawmill gravy. Take a look at it and see what inspiration pops out at me. I might put some black wax on it. There's so many pretty details in this. I hate to not show them off. Y'all see that? Okay. Got my White Lightning. And like I said before, and I think I didn't finish my thought, but this is solid wood. If this were particle board, You might not want to go so heavy on the water. You could maybe use it on a sponge and just wipe it back like that, not spray it, and then wipe it off with a clean one. But this one is solid wood. The water's not going to hurt it. I always have to look at my bottle. Canada. Hey, what's the weather like in Canada? I'm in Florida, so it's different in the morning than it is in the afternoon. I think this morning it was in the 60s, and I think it got up to 80 something today. And I'm pretty sure that our winter is over. Pretty sure. My husband and I were talking about it this morning. See, this has got some really, you probably can't see it on the camera, but it's pretty grimy. It's just amazing how something can look clean, and then when you go to clean it off, you get all this brown stuff. I thought about keeping this piece for myself, but I'm thinking it might be a little bit too big for my sitting room in there. But, alright, we're almost done with the cleaning. Look at the painting. My favorite part. Even when I'm doing something simple, like salmon gravy, I love it. I love to paint. It's like therapy for me. If I didn't have to cook dinner and do laundry and all that stuff, and I could just paint, oh, I'd be so happy. But alas, that's not life, is it, guys? You know, especially as moms, we have so many responsibilities. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my kids. The snow is melting in Canada. Boy, we barely had, I think we might have had 3 or 4 days that got into the 30s, and it was only in the 30s for maybe a couple hours. Maybe I think 6 hours at the most one night. By far our warmest winter. I don't think I could live in the snow, but I would really like to have a little bit more of a season. This has got really pretty claw feet on it. Let me see. Can y'all see that? Look at these claw feet. They are really pretty. I have a video on my website that shows you how you can fix claw feet using Bondo. If you ever get a piece of furniture that's missing a piece, don't pass it up. If you love the piece of furniture, don't pass it up because it has a piece of molding missing or something. That's very, very easy to fix. I'm thinking I'm definitely going to be doing some wax in these details here. I was thinking about doing a dark top on this one and a lighter bottom, but I changed my mind. And I probably will change it again at some point before it's all said and done. I really envy those artists that they have a vision. They look at it, they have a vision, and they stick with it. That's not me. There's a few places on here that are a little rough, and I could hit that with some sandpaper, but I'm not going to because I'm probably going to distress this anyway, and so that'll just add a little bit to the character. It's not bad. It just looks like maybe somebody rubbed up against it, but it's not bad. So we have one more leg here, and then we'll do the top. And usually when I do videos, I do all this beforehand, but I just wanted to show y'all that cleaning, it's not that hard. I mean, granted, if it were, you know, say a dresser or something like that, it might be more difficult, take a little bit more time, but I knew this one wasn't used to bad. And I see down here on this foot, there was some permanent marker, and the white lightning got it right off. Stuff is really good. And like I said, you can feel the difference in the surface. It's definitely got more grip because of the deglossing agent and the white lightning. Okay. Alrighty. Now I'm going to clean the top and then we'll get to painting it. This will just take a second. It's also got these nice edging on here. I don't know if you can see this on the video. Let's see. See this little edge right here? That would be what now one thing I do when I'm deciding how to paint is I do look at these details, and I decide, you know, what can I use to bring those details out. And that's one thing that wax is good for, wax or glaze. Either one, it just depends on what you prefer. You can get a very similar look with both of them. Wax is a little bit more forgiving as far as shading and that kind of thing. But you can get very similar looks between the wax and the glazes. I've even used paint. Sometimes if I don't have just what I need here, but I'm ready to finish what I'm doing, I will just get some paint and add some water to it and make like a little wash and use that. I just finished a piece. The last video that I did some end tables, and that's what I did. I used kind of a wash in the cracks. And I'm just giving this a good rub. I'm getting, if there's anything in these cracks, I'm getting it out with the scrubby. And then I'm going to spray it with a little bit of water, and I'll be done. So I'm going to be doing quite a few lives this month, and I would really like to do lives on some things that y'all might be interested in seeing how to do. I'm definitely going to be going over all the products. I've done that on the Dixie Belle page, but I have not done that for my followers, and so I want you guys to know what products are available to you and how to use them, because a lot of people don't use them properly. And I want you to be successful when you do your painting. So I will be going through all of the prep products and all of the specialty products that we have. I'm going to try and find some pieces that it'll work well with. Okay, that's clean. We're ready to paint. Okay, I don't know what time it is, but we've only been on here a few minutes, and we're done. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to be using a Dixie Belle oval medium. This is one of my favorite brushes. It's a very dense brush. It holds the paint well. And I love the way it's one of my favorite brushes also to blend with. If you've ever done any blending, the oval medium is my favorite brush to blend with. So I'm going to squirt some in this container. And when you're using the Dixie Belle paint, one thing you want to remember is that your paint will move better. Ooh, something just blew my face. If your brush is damp, okay? You'll know when you need to respray it. I'm using a continuous mister. We sell these on the Dixie Belle website. I don't have them on my website just yet, but if you want one, let me know and I'll be sure to send you one. You can go on my website. All the products I'm using tonight, I think everything I'm using tonight is available on my website at paintfixation.com, and I can drop ship them to your house. I have free shipping if you spend over $50 with me. Okay, so I just dampen this. It's not dripping wet. There's no water wringing out, okay? And I'm just going to find my glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, let me make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to start down here. And I'm just going to start applying the paint. I'm not using very much. And I'm going to get in the corner here. And I'm just going to start laying it on. If you keep your brush damp, you will have little to no brush strokes. Now, I am going to push it into the cracks because I want a light base. So when I use my dark wax, it pops and it'll bring out. So right now I'm kind of hiding all of the details, but when I add the wax to this, it's going to just make all those details come back out. But I want to lay this base of sawmill gravy down. Okay. And drag it all the way across. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit more water to my brush so that I can get in these details really well. Okay, I'm going to dab in paint. And I just want to pounce it into the details because these are pretty deep cracks. Now, if I had decided to keep this piece, I probably would have used one of the blues like vintage duck egg and grays. That's kind of how my front room is, blues and grays. But I put it in there and I think it's just going to be too big. So this one's going to be for sale. Okay, and I'm just going to bring it across and just pull it all the way across. Okay, this has got such good coverage. Now you can see that I'm going to need another coat. I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's a little bit of wood peeking through, not much. But because I'm going to be doing something else to this, I'm going to need another coat anyway. Can y'all see that? Okay. This is my first time painting in this room. Y'all are my guinea pigs. I guess I should have tested to see if it would spin around for me. Like I was saying earlier, I've been painting either in my garage in Florida or on my back patio starting last year, which is glassed in, but it doesn't have air. So I had to buy a little room air conditioner. I'm going to give this a little bit of mist because my paint's dragging a little bit. And you can see how it's starting to how that just glides on when you add a little bit of water. But I bought me a little air conditioner so I wouldn't be dying out there. But I realized that I had, you know, we have this room as a guest room, but we have another room that is also available. So I just, by myself, moved all the bed out of here. My husband come home from work, and I had a workshop inside the house. I won't tell you how he acted. He was surprised, to say the least. He's like, how did you get that bed out of there by yourself? Like, who do you think you're talking to? I do it myself. I get it done. All right, we're going to do this leg. Again, just a little bit of paint. And I'm just going to pounce this in the details. So when you guys come on, let me know where you're from. If you're new to my page, if you just started following me, if you're a furniture artist, or if you're just starting, let me know. If you're local, I'm in Middleburg, and so I would think local is Jacksonville, Orange Park. I mean, even Jax Beach would be local. My paint that I sell is at the Antiques for You store on Blanding Boulevard, 801 Blanding Boulevard, and I'm so excited to say that I'm becoming a premier retailer. So I'm going to be carrying all the products. So if you need anything, it'll be there. And if it's not, it's just because I had a big sale, and that's always good. But I have my phone number on all of my products so that if I'm not there, or if you can't find what you need, you can call me or text me, and I will be happy to get it for you. I can meet you up at the store if you need help with the products. learning about them. And I'm also going to be starting some workshops. I talked to someone today about starting some workshops in Fleming Island, and as soon as I firm that up, I'll let y'all know. My first class is going to be a how-to class. A lot of people want to paint their kitchens, but they just don't know how. And, you know, a kitchen is just furniture on the wall. It's not hard to do. I've done several kitchens. I've done both my bathrooms with Dixie Belle paint. All of it turned out beautifully. It holds up beautifully. It just takes a little bit more time than a dresser or a coffee table. That's all. It's just time. It's not hard. If you have the time and you have the motivation, you can easily do a kitchen. Okay. These claw feet are so pretty. A little hair right there. I wanted to come on earlier, but my daughter's cat was, hey Wendy, and Wendy's from Middleburg. She's an artist. She's a customer, former partner. Okay. All right, now we're going to start here, and I'm going to give my brush another little mist, not much. So we're just doing basics tonight. If you are a furniture artist and there are some techniques or products that you're interested in learning about, please let me know. I'm going to be doing a series of lives. I'm going to be going over all of the Dixie Belle products. I will be showing you some different techniques that you can do with the products. I'm going to play with the patina. Show you how to use the sea spray, show you how to use the Dixie Belle mud. Now, when I go to do a second coat, I'm probably not going to be so sure to get in the crevices. I'm just going to probably hit the tops because I've got a good enough amount of paint in there, and I'm going to be waxing over that anyway. This needs a little bit more water just because it's easier to get in these cracks if it's a little bit wet. And as you can see, the details kind of disappear when you paint them, but when we hit it. So I think what we'll do is tonight I'll finish painting the first coat, and then I'll look at it and maybe we'll discuss what would look good with it. Jason. Thank you, Jason. I'm glad you're back. Okay, so that one's done. I'm just going to go all the way across so we don't have any drag marks. Now, a lot of people don't realize what a good brush does for you as a furniture artist. Well, as any artist, if you even ask a canvas painter, they're going to tell you the brush means a lot. You know, you can start out with a cheap brush, but when you start to really up your game, you're going to want to get a good brush. Even before I started painting furniture and I used to paint everything else in my house, I always made sure I had the best brushes because it really does make a difference. I mean, you can paint with a chip brush. You know, Dixie Belle sells premium chip brushes, and they're a little bit more dense. They're a little bit higher quality than the 75-cent ones that you can get at Home Depot and Lowe's. And they do a good job. I mean, you can use them. But when you start upping your game and you want to get a nice smooth finish on the tops and stuff, you really want to get a good brush. Some people prefer natural bristles. I find that they leave too many brush marks. They're really good for doing faux finishes and blending and stuff like that, but I prefer the synthetic brushes for keeping brush strokes out of the finish. Now see, I've hit this bottom. I just hit this bottom foot here, and there's a little crack right there. But it's not very big, and I don't think it's going to need, I'm sorry if I'm making y'all dizzy. I don't think it's going to need any repair. It it's so small, it probably will just add some character. But I'll wait and see as I might turn it upside down and see how far underneath the leg that it goes. So if this crack is going all the way through the bottom, I'm probably going to put some wood glue in there, or actually probably Bondo. I love Bondo. It works really good. Don't let anyone tell you it doesn't, because I've used it a lot and it works good for all kinds of repairs. Usually the people that tell you not to use it on furniture are auto guys, but they don't know everything. And they probably haven't ever repaired a piece of furniture to tell you whether or not it will work or not. But I'm here to tell you, Bondo is the bomb. Wendy says that Dixie Belle brushes are addictive. She ain't kidding. I'd be embarrassed to tell y'all how many I have in my drawer over there. Because if I'm doing a faux finish, like I might do on the top of this one, I did one for a client, and we did kind of wasn't really a driftwood, but it had different colors and texture to it. I used a chip brush for that because chip brushes do really good for texture. But oh my word, I must have used 10 brushes that night. But that's what I do if I'm working on different colors and blending, and I go through a lot of brushes. So I make sure I have a lot of brushes on hand. We were almost down at the bottom. Do y'all see how easy this is? We gave it a clean. Yeah, that's right, Jason. If it's strong enough for a car, it is strong enough for a piece of furniture. That is the truth. So, this is just easy to use. Easy, easy, easy. And we are using a very light color, and I mean, it is going to need a second coat, but it's not going to need a full second coat. You know what I'm saying? It's going to, I'm using a very little bit of paint, a very thin amount. I mean, if you guys saw how much I put in here, it's like hardly anything, and I'm almost done with the whole bottom part of this. And I'm probably won't have to use much more on the top. Okay, I'm going to wet this just a little bit so it'll give me the help I need to get this in the cracks. Let it drip down in there a little bit. I was looking at how I hold a brush the other day. Does everybody hold their brush like a pencil? Wendy says, I'm not afraid of doing anything. Speaking of that, I actually painted my husband's car. I got a sprayer. I got an Erlex 5500, which I love. And my husband was like, well, since you have a sprayer, why don't you paint my car? Now, I didn't use Dixie Belle paint, guys. I used automotive paint. But Wendy's a friend of mine, and she lives locally, and she was like, you're going to do what? I'm like, well, it's rusted, and it looks bad now. How can I make it look any worse? Okay, one tip. So when you're coming across a long piece like this, if you stop short, sometimes you're going to get a little bit of a mark. You can kind of see right here, there's like a shadow. If you just give it a little spritz to reactivate the paint and pull it, that goes away. Okay, I'm barely touching the paint. Okay, I'm just going to pull all the way across. And now that shadow is gone. And that'll go away when you do your second coat, but just a tip. If you get a shadow where you've stopped and started and you get kind of a brush mark, just reactivate it and give it a light brush. Okay, and it will disappear like magic. Again, I'm using Sawmill Grady. This is one of our neutrals. It's an off-white. It's kind of it's a warm white. I would say it has more gray undertones than yellow. I think drop cloth to me has a little bit more of a yellow undertone than this one does. The other thing that I'm going to do off camera is I'm probably going to tilt this on its side, and I'm going to make sure to get up underneath these edges right here. I'm not doing that right now. I'll wait and see how much I can see on it. But y'all don't want to see me crawling underneath here and trying to get all the undercarriage of this thing. It probably wouldn't be a pretty picture. Crack myself up. Okay. So tonight I'm going to finish this first coat, and then I'll come back on tomorrow night. Well, I have a meeting tomorrow. Let's say Thursday. What's today? Tuesday, Wednesday. So Thursday evening, I'll come back on, and we'll finish this piece. By that time, I'll know what finish that I want to have on it, and I will probably, I don't know, guys, do y'all want to see me do a second coat, or should I do the second coat and then we do all the fun stuff on camera? I mean, I can do it all on camera. I want y'all to see just how easy this is and how quick. So I'm not going to do anything behind the scenes. The only thing I'll do behind the scenes is I'll get up underneath it and make sure all the under parts are taken care of. Make sure I get all up underneath the feet. I'll do that tomorrow. And then when we come back on Thursday night, well, let's say same time, 8 o'clock, come back and we will discuss what we want the final finish to look like as I'm doing the second coat. And then Friday evening, we'll come back and we'll finish it together. Just like if y'all were here with me. Okay, so Thursday night, 8 o'clock, second coat. Friday, probably around the same time, we'll get our waxes out, maybe glaze, and we'll do all the fun stuff. I mean, this is fun too. Doing the details is always so much more fun. So I have this edge and this side, and then we'll get the top, and then we'll be done with the first coat. Can everybody see good? Okay, light mist, so the paint will move and get in the cracks. So the other thing that I'm working on that I've mentioned before, and I'm almost done, I am working on a color theory chart for Dixie Belle colors. And what it is it is going to have all of the Dixie Belle colors, and I'm going to lay out how colors work together, how you decide what colors can work together, warms, cools, tones, undertones. And I'm on this chart guide, it is going to show you, if you pick one of our colors, you're going to have up to 8 colors that you know if you use them, then they're going to be harmonious. Now, I was hoping to have it done before now, but I found a digital color wheel that I can plug in, because if you've ever seen a color wheel, you know that they don't have the neutrals on there. You're not going to have grays, you're not going to have blacks. They might have some orangey tones, but really not very many browns either. But I have found an online digital color wheel that I can, now let me back up. So I'm going to have all the colors, I'm using the true colors. I'm using our spoons that are painted with the actual Dixie Belle colors, and I'm choosing colors to complement them in the complementary, the triad, and the tetrad colors. But for the neutrals, I am going to be using a program that I plug in the color from the digital file from Dixie Belle, and it will tell me the number. All colors have a code, okay? And so it's got the code. And I am going to use, on my guide, I'm going to have the neutrals because with these codes, it helps you decide what's your undertones. And so if you put a color in your house, a neutral color, like say sawmill gravy, like this color, and you put it on your walls, and you don't have yellow in your house, and you don't want yellow on your walls, and you put that color up there, and bam, it's yellow. Okay, we're going to try to avoid that with our furniture. So if you are a custom furniture painter, and you're going to your client's house, and they tell you, I want this particular color. Let's say that they want mint julep, which is one of our cool green colors, and you go to your client's house, and you're like, oh boy, everything in this house is warm tones. You're going to be able to, with confidence, tell your customer, I really think you should go with something a little bit warmer. You can still go green, but you just don't go as cool as mint julep. So I am almost done. I'm going to have it, and I'm going to do a live video explaining how it works, and I'm going to show it, and then I'll have it on my website. If you're subscribed to my website, everybody who's subscribed will get an email as soon as it is available. And if you're watching and you know someone who might be interested in this, or that you think that they might enjoy learning how to paint just easy and not doing anything fancy, please spread this video along to your friends and give a thumbs up or a heart. I really much appreciate that. Facebook doesn't like us to say S-H-A-R-E, and so I like to say, just send it along or spread it like peanut butter and jelly, let your friends know, especially if you know someone who really would like to learn how to paint furniture, but they're afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of because everything can be painted back over again. And if you've ever seen my house, you would know this to be true. Okay, I'm getting some drag, so I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to pull this down because this is dragging a little bit. Okay. And this is done. The bottom of it's done. Okay, I say the bottom's done. I'm going to do the undercarriage later, okay? I'll do that tonight or tomorrow. Oop, I missed a spot. Why didn't y'all tell me I missed that? Come on, guys. I'm going to get this real quick. And that's why it's important to look at your furniture from all angles, because I just completely missed this. Okay, now it's done. Okay, that's the first coat. And this side is already just about dry on this bottom part here. Okay, so I'm going to paint the top. I get on my hands and knees. Okay. So to do the top, I want it to be even. I don't want to have a lot of brush marks in it, because the top, the finish I'm thinking is going to be long, and it's going to be it's going to have some pattern to it, but I want it to be long ways. I don't want it to be this way. I want everything to move end to end with the grain. So I'm going to show you the best way to do this so that you get a good, you want to keep your brush damp. Get your first coat on here. Can y'all see this? Of course, you can't really see it because let me move this over here, because y'all don't need to see me. Okay. And where did my glasses go? I don't know about any of you guys, but if y'all are getting older like I am and having to wear glasses, it's a little bit depressing. Okay, so this has got a curve to it. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it goes whoop, 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 like this. And so I'm just going to follow this all the way down. so that I don't have any stop marks in here, okay? And then I'm going to give this a little bit of a mist. I'm going to start in the center here. And come down. Okay. Now, I'm barely touching the surface. I'm hitting it with a very light hand so that I don't get any stop marks. Okay? So when I'm looking at it, it's like one big, long brush mark. Okay? Now, I will say now that I'm adding white to or off-white to this, there's a little hairline crack right here. Can you see this right here? It's just a hairline crack. Anytime you're adding a light color to wood, every flaw shows up. So this just gives me, as I'm painting, it's giving me ideas about what I'm going to do to hide that, because I don't, it's not big enough really to repair it, but I know that if I use a little bit of a technique on the top, something with texture, you won't even be able to see it. And it will just add to the character of the finish. Now, when you keep your brush damp, it makes it a lot easier to pull the paint across. Wendy's asking me if I sanded. I did not sand because this piece is in really good condition. There aren't any major divots or cracks that can be sanded out. I cleaned it with White Lightning. And I'm doing thin coats. If you do your first coat thin and let it dry completely, your paint's going to stick. Okay, you're not going to have to worry about the paint pulling out. So we're just doing thin coats. And after I get this on here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when I do the finish on this on Friday evening, y'all are going to be able to see how wishy-washy I can be. You know how they sometimes say, it's better to know when to stop than to keep going. I have a really bad problem with that. Sometimes I just keep on keeping on. Okay. So I'm going to spin it around. And y'all can kind of see how that's looking. Okay. So you can still see, so you can see the wood through it. So we're just doing a very thin first coat. Now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to pull it across here. You can see there's a little crack right here. It's not that big, but because I'm going to be distressing this piece, again, that's just going to add to the character of the piece. I love this brush. This is an oval medium by Dixie Belle. I mean, look at this thing. It's so dense, but yet I can still control where I paint. I'm able to control where the paint goes. It's not getting everywhere. I just love this brush, if I haven't said it before. Okay, got that. And Dixie Belle paint dries really fast. I could probably go right back over this with a second coat, but I'm going to let it dry overnight. Because I want to do it with y'all, and I don't want to bore y'all to death tonight. I don't even know how long I've been on here. Wendy, if you're still there, what time is it? I don't have a clock in here. Okay. So I'm just going to go right along this edge. And now that I've got it on there, I'm just going to pull it all the way down. And that helps me get a nice, smooth coat. I don't have to worry about brush strokes. You know, if you guys knew me, you would be so impressed with the fact that I am talking and painting at the same time because it's 9 p.m. Okay. We'll be done in just a minute. This is almost done. But I have such a hard time painting and talking at the same time because I just get so involved in it that I forget you guys are here. Not that I don't love you. It's just I forget you're here because I'm not used to painting on camera. So I'm going to use my left hand here. Let's see how this works out. I'm right-handed. Now, if you were here at the beginning, you saw how very little paint I put in this container, okay? Very little. I put one little extra squirt in here, but, gosh, I don't know. I may have had maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons in here, and that's it. And I'm just about done with this piece. So keep that in mind when you're buying paint for your piece, that, you know, this paint goes a very long way. Okay, so we got the edges done. Now I'm going to come back here and finish up the top. I'm going to dampen this edge so that we don't get a break mark here. So this will reactivate that paint that's already on there. And then it won't have a break line. So this is going to just blend right in with what I've already done. And I'm going to come all the way across. Now, if you have a piece that's bigger than this, longer, like a dining room table, you might work from the middle, and I'll do that real quick and show you what I mean. So I'll start from the center of your table, and then work out. And get your paint on there, and then pull it across. Now, if I had sanded this piece, this looks like it's maybe oak. It would be a bleeder. If I had sanded this, I would have had to have used Boss, which is our stain blocker. But because I didn't sand it and didn't break the seal on this finish, I'm not going to have to use it. Okay, so I started in the center and worked out, and now I'm just pulling it back in and going all the way across. So I have straight lines. Okay, there's not any breakage in there. There's no brush marks. I'm going to get another little squirt on here. There's a few little divots in here that you couldn't see before the paint, but they're not very deep. It looks like maybe someone dropped something on it. A little bit more water. So if you're watching this video on a replay, if you have any questions, please ask. There are no stupid questions. I will come back and I will answer your questions. Feel free to private message me if you prefer to do it that way. And like I said before, all of the products that I use tonight are on my website at paintfixation.com. And if you're not sure what products you need, again, just give me a holler and I will help you figure out what products that you need for whatever project you are working on. Again, the color I'm using tonight is Sawmill Gravy by Dixie Belle. We've just used one color. We're doing one coat. I'll be back Thursday at 8. And we will do a second coat and decide what finish that we're going to do. Wendy's asking about my Dixie Belle status. I just became, this week, a premier retailer. So I will be carrying the entire line. If you're local, I'll have everything that you need in stock. I had just about everything before, but now I have everything. I'm expecting my shipment any day now. So I'll have all the colors, all the fun products. I'm going to put now I'm like down to like barely any paint, so I'm just going to give this a squirt to get the rest out so I don't have to waste any paint because I've just got so little left over here. And just like that, we're done with our first coat. So that's 1 hour cleaning, painting. Now you could do it faster if you're not talking and trying to show stuff like I am. But let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see over here it's pretty thin. But this is the first coat that will be completely covered when I put the second coat on and it's still wet. If your paint is still wet and you try to go back over it with another coat, you might have some pulling of the paint. The paint might pull up a little bit. So you just want to make sure that your first coat is completely dry, okay, before you put on your second coat. Unless you're, doing something that you can have a little bit of texture, but for the most part, you want your first coat to completely dry and then go back with your second coat because you're going to be using a little bit of water to make sure that that second coat is real smooth and you're getting a good finish. And when you put the water on there, it might reactivate the paint. So Thursday, we'll put the second coat on here. Since I am going to be using probably a wax, we're going to have to put a barrier between the paint and the wax, the colored wax, because when you put the colored wax on the chalk mineral paint, the paint will absorb the wax and it makes it more difficult to manipulate the wax. You want the wax to be able to be wiped back. So I probably will use something like Easy Peasy wax because it dries so quickly and we can put that on there and work right away. Also, maybe we'll use a little bit of Dixie Dirt because it gives a nice, it's not as harsh of a finish. It's a real soft finish and it looks really natural. So thanks for watching. If you're watching on the replay, please send this video along to your friends so that they can see how easy it is to use Dixie Belle. And if you have questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll go back and answer them. I hope everybody has a good night and thank you for joining me. Good night.